All right, everyone, welcome back to the Dropping In podcast. I'm here today, George Poulos, with my man Danny Torres.
It's this
And
guy.
today we're going to be talking about some interesting things in social media and just what's on our minds. How you doing, bro?
You didn't play the intro sound.
Oh, should I?
Yeah, go for it right
All
now.
right, give me a hot second. Here we go.
All right.
It's not working.
Okay, never mind.
Anyways, how are you?
Good man, chilling. Just woke up, took a fat ass shower, and headed to the computer to talk to your bedhead ass.
Nice. I actually feel, dang, I actually feel amazing right now, dude.
Why?
I think that, well, it's like 60 degrees in Brooklyn this morning, and I got a bagel. The caffeine is feeling really good. I've got my window open, and I'm just excited to let loose and conversate.
Lit dude, fucking let loose and conversate
All
then.
right, should we undress?
I mean, I think that's the only next step.
So, before we really get into the conversation today, I do want to shout out our first two patrons. Normally, we would do this at the end of the episode, but we are really excited about our first two supporters. We got Evan Zucker, who I've actually met on the phone and we text now and then. Really appreciate you, Evan, and Hayden Clues. I might be saying that last name wrong, but we really appreciate both of you. Patrons will be getting early access to episodes and our first monthly Zoom call. We're doing a Zoom hangout where we can all talk and interact. You guys can talk to us, or you can talk to each other, and or both. So
And we're gonna roast the ever living shit out of you.
if you want. So the Patreon link will be in the description. And yeah, appreciate the patrons.
Thank you so much, patrons. You are helping us pay rent.
Yes. Well, first you're covering.
We're paying rent on
Yeah,
Riverside.
first you're covering our podcast software.
Rent.
Shit, dude, where should we begin? I'm really excited for everything we have to talk about today.
Yeah, dude. Everything bagels are literally so
Yeah,
good.
although I actually had a flat bagel today with sesame seeds.
Bro, what the fuck? Dude, I miss New York City bagels, to be honest. I was thinking about one last night.
Dude, they're really good. I've also been, for some reason, I have no motivation to shop right now. So I've been going to the bagel store almost every morning.
It's the way to do it.
I guess so.
So, where should we start today on the Dropping In podcast with G and D?
I think, oh, you know where we should start is we should start by laying out our intentions for the podcast.
I think that is a magnificently, beautifully correct way to start.
So, I think there's an important thing we need to say here. Well, at least I'll say it from my perspective, and it's that this podcast is very much embodying mine and I believe yours desire to be creatively free.
Yes, that is true.
So this podcast is going to reflect what we're interested in, like at the time, you know? And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're naturally going to make a lot of things about skateboarding just because like that interest does naturally arise in us a lot,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be limited to that. And I think it, like, since we come from skate YouTube, that's where most people know us from. It's natural to think, like, I've seen some suggestions saying, like, we should do, like, skate topics and dive into that sort of thing, which we could, but it's really just a podcast. And I'm curious to hear it in your words. I think we're making a podcast about, like, what's just on our minds.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a podcast about like life and I can hear someone.
Oh, you heard
Ew.
that out the window?
Yeah. Um, I think it's like a podcast about life, about our lives, about yeah, whatever we're currently experiencing and feel like we need to talk. Like this is a creative outlet for us, but I also just think it's uh, just a way for us to speak freely on whatever we want to talk about. Um, whether that be if we're feeling like if we just had like an awesome skate session the day before and we're feeling like we love skating, like let's talk about how much we love skating. But if we just read like a really good book, or there's like some stuff that we really resonate with in a good book, then we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Uh, or all of the other, we can talk about the other creative outlets that we have and how we navigate
Yeah.
through all of
I
those.
think what's cool and what's already happening is like there's already a thread following all three podcasts, and that started before we started recording these because we were doing our meetings, and we've been going through a journey of finding our creative freedom and dealing with the slower numbers of the skate channels. And like I think it's really cool that we've been actively working through that, and like it's going to create this like long arc, like wherever it may go. Like we're kind of recording the process of figuring things out, as we go, which I think is really cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was thinking yesterday about, when was this yesterday when we were having our meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday after the meeting, I was thinking about how, uh, like it'll be cool when we're like 50 podcasts deep, and then seeing like, I'm sure by then maybe we'll have like a little bit more of a structured kind of
Yeah.
thing. But it'll be cool to see like how we just started. Like every time I find a good podcast that I like, I love listening to like the first episodes, and like usually like the quality is not as
Right.
good, like in the sound. If it's video, the video is not as good, and like it's kind of just more rambly. And then to where they are today, they're like it's just like so professional, and it sounds cool and it sounds good, and they're like just going through it, you
Yeah,
know?
like how Cody Ko and Noel are in like that crazy studio now. So
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah, like it's cool to see that the
Yeah.
growth.
And I like how our journey has even been documented through our skate channels from even before this.
Oh yeah.
It's like I don't know, it's kind of
Yeah.
special to we've talked about how we're capturers in many ways.
Yeah. So this is just another way of doing
And
that.
this one's like really deep into our heads.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool to have these conversations recorded, and yeah, whoever wants to see them can
Yeah.
have some sort of insight into what goes on in there.
So some things I could see, like some things I'm excited about the future for this is like I know we want to get some guests on. I think we want to
Yeah.
invite Brian Arnett because he left a comment. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would love to, because I have a good idea what you think about like social media these days and like creating videos
Hmm.
and art and stuff, but I want to dig into other people too.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I also want to, like, I could see us doing an episode on like dating or something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I was just thinking that too, like relationships and dating and like I don't know, like male experiences or uh,
Yes.
funny like
Yeah.
stories, you know, just anything like that. And then even into more like deep philosophical stuff as
Yeah.
well.
It's a good place. And yeah, it all connects to like the pressure to niche down that I think every creator must feel. And
Yeah, for sure.
this this podcast is an active resistance of that. I think it's more it's more like just letting it be how it is.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm stoked, and to the viewers, I hope that you will enjoy this the evolution of whatever this podcast will become, and stick with us. And if you guys have any topics or anything that you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments, and we are more than willing to talk about those things.
That's a good idea. It's funny, I feel like we usually don't break the third wall or whatever it's called, the fourth wall. Like we
Yeah.
usually just talk to each other as if we're on FaceTime, and now I feel the presence of the audience because we were like addressing them
Oh
at the
yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, it's sick. I like that. I think that's
All right,
cool.
but I'm gonna try to now forget about them. No offense, audience.
um, but yeah, I mean, speaking about breaking through stuff,
Hmm.
and breaking through that, I don't know why that made me think about this, but I started thinking about breaking through norms and stuff like that. You want to talk about how you're considering unfollowing everybody on
Yeah,
Instagram because that's out of the norm.
yeah. This one's so interesting to me. So I have this craving to unfollow everybody on Instagram down to zero. I know I think I know two people who have done this. One is Nathaniel Drew, who I just met, and I mentioned him on the last episode. Two is, I think, Danny Duncan. It's like, you would have to be a creator to do this. Otherwise, it's like, why would you have an Instagram? It's like, it would embody this idea that you're creating on the app you're not consuming. But the interesting thing is, like, I'm a creator on Instagram, but I also use it for a social purpose. So I follow a lot of people that I want to just see what they're up to, like my friends from high school, college, and my present life. Um, but it's all mixed in with these people that I kind of follow for work, like brands that I've worked with or that I want to build a relationship with. Um, a lot of creators that like I think it's cool what they're doing and we're friends in real life, but I don't necessarily like I'm not who their content is for. Um and I think a lot of like when I think about a lot of my high school friends who are following me, my content on Instagram is not really for them anymore. It's like a lot of like skating reels and like I don't know. They don't need to see that necessarily. So that brings me to the interesting part. It's like okay, actually, there's a lot to say. I'm just gonna let it all out. Um, so
Go
the thing
for it,
is, my
dude.
feed is just like it's horrendous. It's like Instagram is merging reels into it. It's like so most of my feed, like I don't care about any of it, and it's just like, but I'm still somehow addicted to scrolling it, and I'm like wishing I was seeing like posts from my friends, family, like I don't know. I do have a second Instagram that I made one time and I don't use, and I'm following 30 people. And when I took a look at that feed, it was like I saw you, I saw Noah, I saw my dad, I saw like a friend from college, and it was like kind of nice. Like it was like serving that social
Yeah.
media purpose. So, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll just unfollow like all the creators and brands that I follow and just follow like that small group of people. But then I'm like, I'm gonna offend people, and people are gonna they're
Yeah.
gonna see I'm still following some people but not others. So maybe I should just give myself a reset and go down to zero. But there's like something that like is not allowing me to do that. There's like something I'm holding on to.
I think so. We briefly talked about this off the air, and my question to you was, is what's keeping you from doing it the idea that people will be like, is it just that people are going to be offended, or is it that you don't want to like you don't want to let go of these people?
I think it's right. I think it's kind of both. Um, so actually, that makes me think of like typically how it goes. I'll start scrolling my following list, and
Hmm.
I'll see someone that I haven't spoken to in like 10 years,
Yeah.
and I haven't even seen their post on my feed in a long, long time. But then it's like when I go to unfollow them, I'm like, oh, like what if what if they post something and I see it and then I get this urge to hit them up and then we reconnect, and it's this fear that like the unfollow will remove that possibility to reconnect. But you multiply that by
Maybe.
like following 1,000 people, then my feed is like clogged with things, and I'm not seeing the people that are really, really important to me right now.
I think maybe taking the minimalist approach to this, taking the minimalist approach to decluttering could be helpful. So, are you familiar with that at all?
Uh, I mean, I can intuit what it means, I think.
So in with decluttering, like obviously we know what that means, and that's getting rid of shit. But sometimes when people are trying to get rid of stuff, they hold this like attachment to the certain thing, and they're like, oh, like for example, let's say I want to like I have too much stuff in my camera bag, and like there's this
Hmm.
lens, and it's like I'm gonna start like I want to get rid of this lens, but like I keep thinking, fuck, what if I need to use it? What if I want to use this lens? So how about instead of just getting rid of it, I just take it out of my bag for a couple weeks and see if the need to use it arises. And for the same in the same like context of that is like putting stuff in a box and seeing if you miss it, because it's like, oh, I might need to use this later on, but I'm just gonna put it in a box and like act like I'm getting rid of it and see how many times I actually go back and use it. So maybe there's a way of applying that concept to the followers, maybe maybe muting
Yeah.
people and seeing how much you really are missing that kind of content or those people in your feed. And then there's also the idea of you can keep all of these like 1,000 people or however many people you follow, and uh, keep thinking that there may be this like thing that's going to happen between you guys. But realistically, I mean, I know that that does happen, but how often does that happen? You know what I mean? And maybe if you're meant to connect with these people, you will, and it's not going to be because of
Yeah.
Instagram.
That that's I agree with pretty much everything you just said. Um, that perspective that if I'm meant to connect with these people, I will. That has been like my main idea pushing me towards unfollowing everybody. And actually,
Yeah.
it's funny you bring up the camera bag analogy because I tweeted the idea to unfollow everybody, and actually, I think it was Evan or one of our first patrons who suggested the muting. And
Yeah.
so I've actually like I brought this up to you and I was like stuck on it, but in that week I've actually followed like unfollowed like 250 people, and
Oh,
I think I
wow.
muted like 100. And
Okay, that's
yeah, and
good.
Evan had suggested
Bro, did you mute
no,
me?
I didn't actually, but I muted a lot of people that I consider friends, particularly content creators,
Yeah,
and it's because like I don't need to see everybody's skateboarding reels, dude.
I feel you. I have a few I mean, I don't follow that many people, maybe like 150
Yeah,
or
you're
something.
super low.
But well, that's because I had an unhealthy like view on following people, and so I stopped following everybody, and then I literally had no feed, which was good and
Right,
bad. But then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I am completely like not allowing myself to connect with
right.
people, or at least see what people are up to. And then I let go of this thing, the attachment to having a good ratio on Instagram, and I just started following people. And then when I would meet people in public, I started following them, and that made me feel better. And then now I'm at a point where I wish I followed. I wish I had more friends to
Mm,
follow, but I also just don't have that because I've moved a lot, so I forget about a lot of people. Like my high school friends, mostly, like I don't follow anybody. And then I didn't go to I went to college for a couple of years, but it wasn't like a university where I like made all these friends and like lived there with them. So it was just a different experience. Um, and then the people I met in New York, I didn't follow hardly anybody while I was there, and now I've started to follow a few of those people. And it does feel better to actually see what people like my age are doing because I like kicked everybody out of my life and wasn't allowing anybody in. So it feels good for me right now, and I wish I had more people to follow. But then I also don't want to follow a lot of the other people.
Yeah.
Like I like following the new people, but I don't want to follow the old people. But then I can't let go of them because they're old friends or whatever.
Yeah. That's why I think it's like this weird place to be as a content creator, like using Instagram professionally kind of and socially, because like I don't know, if I was just posting like small life updates now and then, I feel like then the mutual follow with me and all my friends from the past would make sense. It's more of like a
Yeah,
Facebook model, but like nobody's using Facebook anymore. It
yeah,
that would be like it would be turn Instagram into a way to keep in touch with people, which I think a lot of people use it that way.
yeah. And I have my other Instagram, my like private Instagram, and I hardly even go on it. And like I am following some of the people I went to high school with and like some people that I've met, but like I hardly ever even end up going on it because it doesn't even feel like my Instagram.
Yeah. And that's I had a thought of, okay, maybe I unfollow everybody on George Poulos and all the people I want to see their updates, I'll follow on George Poulos too, but then all of a sudden I have two, like the last thing I need is another social media to check, you know?
Yeah. It's really interesting that we crave this no we we crave this divide like we keep talking about this with having a main channel and a second channel. We're talking about this with having our main Instagram and essentially like a life Instagram. We, as of last night, and this is something I've brought up many times in the past before, was having separate TikToks. And now it's actually a thing that's happening, which we can get into a little bit more later. But now, like, what is it? What is it about a divide that we
Oh
crave?
God.
What is
I
that?
don't
Like,
know.
what? Because I mean, there's a reason for the YouTube one, which is the idea like of like skate YouTube is like kind of dying and disappearing. But what is it about us, in here that needs to have this divide between creating and like existing?
Well, I have a few thoughts. One, YouTube is its own bucket because that's not a social media at all, in my opinion.
Hmm.
That's a
Yeah.
creative platform. So we've split our channels into two because we have a niche audience and but we have other interests. So we want to create in two buckets. That makes sense. Instagram,
Mm,
you think YouTube is a social media?
no, I don't think YouTube is a social media. I agree with everything you said except for the part where uh like yes, we do want to create in these two different buckets, but we're also trying to change what we put on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in terms of the YouTube, I'm trying to draw a brain map of our brains in terms of like the two YouTube channels. It's kind of like this. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth diving into that more, but so okay, so YouTube is this thing, and I think we agree that it has to do with like things we want to create. But
Hmm.
Instagram was made, here's my theory, it was made as a social media for staying in touch with friends,
Yeah.
but it has become a YouTube like platform where you create on. You like when you're making an Instagram reel, I think more often than not it's not here's what I'm up to in my life. It's more like I'm creating this reel. It's like a creative project.
Hmm.
So now I think the split on Instagram at least is a craving for the old social media. It's like we don't see our friends all the time, so we have this desire to see what they're up to. But this thing that we do, this creative outlet, makes it difficult to use Instagram as a social media. How do you feel about that?
Dude, my brain is fucked. Yeah, no, I agree. That makes total sense.
So
But that's still like what is it? What is this what are we looking for?
I don't know if we're looking for. I think what I'm looking for in my Instagram feed is something more intimate, because I don't want to consume creators. I want to consume friendships on Instagram.
And that, yeah, I understand that. Um,
And I think Instagram is fumbling the bag by putting so many reels on the feed. I think they're actually killing the app, because I think a lot of
yeah,
people
no,
are
I think so too.
burnt out by that.
I mean, my even just my feed is just it's like not even people I follow. It's just like recommended reels.
Yeah, I was scrolling the other day and I saw a button where you can turn off suggested reels for 30 days at a time, which I did, and my feed
Oh, that's cool.
immediately got better.
Okay.
Damn, you got that McDonald's Wi-Fi, bruh.
Bro, you got that Mickey Mouse Wi-Fi. Um, Dude. Okay, so then, but what's your? Are you gonna start using the second
I don't
Instagram?
think so. I don't think I have the capacity. I would like to, and I would like to have the second Instagram almost as a Facebook, but I don't have the capacity because I'm spending too much energy as a creator in terms of my social media output.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I'm creating the split in my main Instagram by muting every creator that I'm friends with and I want to support. I'm going to follow and mute them.
I
And
see.
people I want to see their posts I will follow as normal.
I hear you. I like that.
Um,
I've muted certain creators because they post way too much.
right, exactly. And they got to grind, you know, and it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
But
All right. I get it. It makes sense to me now.
yeah. But also it's like why I don't know.
No, no, not the but also it's
It's
like
just funny cuz why are we even scrolling on Instagram? Like can't we what if we just stopped and went for a walk instead?
yeah, but like it for example, like I see like Kara, she's so far removed from like the creator world and she's like a normal person
Right.
and she follows I don't know, maybe like 1,000 people or something and she probably has maybe like the same if not more followers like but still in that range
Right.
and she'll scroll on Instagram when she's just sitting there she'll scroll and I'll look over and it's like uh it's like real people, you know what I mean? It's like people getting engaged, people getting married, like moms and their babies, and then you'll see like regular, you know, dudes, regular people, like that are just posting about like their life, like their cars, their families. You know, it's just normal shit. And there's a part of me that wants
Me
that,
too.
but there's also a part of me that doesn't like care for it either though.
Yeah. I mean I regardless of how Instagram feels, like I prioritize real life connection, you know?
Yeah.
And it's you could almost think of your contacts list as a social media. Like that's like the real social media.
Dude, I only talk to like three, maybe five people that are on my contact list.
But you do have a log of everybody you've connected with in such a strong way that you exchange numbers, and you
Yeah.
could create a a real connection with them again. But you don't
That's
need
true.
to see all this stuff on a feed.
That's true. Yeah, and if you like if you see their name and you want to connect, that means more than if you randomly see like a post.
Right, but what if randomly seeing a post is the universe telling you should connect with this person?
Then you'll see them come up on people you may
Mm,
know or people you should follow. Or you'll see them walking down the street,
right. I believe that.
especially in New York. That happens all the
Yeah.
time. Um, okay, well, I have a better insight in your to what's going on in your head about the Instagram thing.
Let's hear it.
No, I just mean like I have a better understanding
Oh,
of where you are with
I
it,
see.
and it makes sense to
I
me,
see.
and I support it.
But you know how we were when we were first having discussions about splitting into two YouTube channels, like we were like freaking out, you know? I'm
Yeah.
not freaking out anymore. I just think it's like
I don't
interesting.
think I am either. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you texted me last night that you started a new TikTok page.
I posted one this
My
morning.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you? My initial response to that was like it was more like curiosity based rather than like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? So and so even that in its sense I think is more is growth because earlier I would have like freaked out, but now I'm like that makes sense and that's something that I've actually been wanting to do for a long time now. I mean, remember I used to be like I want to make funny videos and like put that just on a separate TikTok. And you would always tell me just put it all on one TikTok, like that's your TikTok. But I like I feel like I do like divide or division. I like that, but I also struggle with it. But it does feel creatively freeing to be able to just do whatever you want wherever you
Yeah.
want it.
That's I think the key thing that I've realized in terms of this overthinking about splitting the channels and creative freedom is that first of all, I had to drop my attachment to income and like
Yeah.
for full disclosure, like my income is fine through like April right now, and after that, nothing is promised. And I, for a long time, I was like very strategic. Like, okay, can I build the second channel? Like, or what? Or is focusing on the skate channel and niching down gonna make the income come? Or should I invest in this second channel and build this new niche? I was thinking about that. Now that I've read The Artist's Way, I'm just like my priorities have shifted to just creating what I want to. So now the second channel, this is YouTube and for my second TikTok, I'm seeing it as a creative playground. So it's like a place to just mess around and have fun. Um,
Yeah.
and that's taken a lot of the stress out of the decision. Like I still have my main TikTok and like whether it's all about skating or whatever, I'm not putting too much weight on the decision. It's just that like if I feel like it's for the main thing, I'll put it there. But if I'm really just letting go and having fun and I don't want to worry about pleasing the audience, I'll put it on my creatively free channel. You know?
Yeah, I like this thing that's happening in my brain. That's ever since now we've made up our what seems that we've made up our minds and hopefully a month from now hasn't changed is that now the main channel like it can be skateboarding if I want it to
Yeah.
be. For it's like a video by video basis. It's like if I want a skateboarding video to live right now on this channel, then that's what's gonna like if I feel motivated to go skate and film, like fuck it, I'm gonna make a skate video and post it on that channel. But if I also want to make a video that's a little bit more laid back and doesn't really have anything to do with skating, and I feel like it belongs on the main channel because it has that I don't know, just that thing that feels right, then it'll go there.
Yes.
But if it's like a shit post or just me talking to the camera, like not really doing anything, then I'll post it there. Or if it's I mean, on the second channel. Or if it's something that's way too like far out, that's a little bit more experimental, then I'll post it on the second channel as well. You know?
Yeah, it is a freeing perspective. I it's funny. Last night I like mentioned I was filming a video on my a skate video on my Instagram story, and then you messaged me about it, and you were like kind of grilling me. I was like, yeah, I want to make a video about these trucks, and you were,
Dude, I literally said I'm not trying to grill you. I'm just
but you were
curious.
asking a lot of questions, and
Yeah, I was. I was.
you were like, what? I know it's funny because, but it used to hold that, like just a few weeks ago, filming a skate video held that weight. It was like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
doing my skate channel now, you know. But now it's like, no,
Yeah.
I have these trucks here. I have this desire to film them. I'm not
Yeah.
forcing a format or anything. It's just like I just want to film that, so I'm gonna do it. And obviously, I anticipate that's gonna land on this on the main channel, and
Yeah.
that's
Like I have this desire to go get a toy machine board and like set it up and skate it for a video.
yeah,
Like that feels right. That feels good for me to do because I love Toy Machine and I love everything about Toy Machine and I love skating, so why not film a video about that, you know?
yeah, and that's all that matters is that we're doing what feels right.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters because the priorities have shifted. For me, now it's about I'm burnt out of thinking about the money and the strategy. I just want to create what feels good. That's why I'm talking to you right now and recording it, you know. Um,
Yep.
that's why I have a second YouTube channel, a second TikTok. You know what felt good for me to hear was that Charlie D'Amelio apparently has like 5 TikToks.
Yeah.
And like,
I didn't know about
yeah,
that.
because like she can't shit post on her main TikTok. It's black.
But technically she
She
could
could.
because she's so has such a massive platform.
She could, but like she split it, and it's not that serious, you know. Like,
Yeah, no, you're right.
did you ever take a look at Chris Chan's TikTok?
Yeah, yeah, I did. Just says the exact opposite of a niche or something like that.
Yeah, and he like I hate I hate to keep talking about numbers, but I guess they are a thing. Like he's doing very well on TikTok. His bio says the exact opposite of a niche, and he posts the most random shit ever. And some
Yeah, you know what's funny? Sorry, go ahead, go
no,
ahead.
I was just
I'll
gonna
get into it
last thing I was
after.
gonna say that some of it is skating, but a lot of it is not.
Yeah, and on my main TikTok, I have maybe about 15 videos in my drafts
Hmm.
that are like just like something. It's either me like fucking around with some stupid filter, like those like filters that pop up and like something like's going above your head,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're just dumb little shit posts, and also just like random stuff that I've like made into TikToks, but I have been like hesitant to post because they don't feel like they fit
Mm-hmm.
there. So it would feel so freeing to just have those on my like make a new TikTok and then just put them there and like not give a fucking shit about them.
Yes, and that
Because on the main TikTok, there's still I don't have an attachment to views because I don't care about that anymore. But there's still an attachment to making it feel a little bit more like
yeah, like
cohesive.
yeah, you want to build that. You know, it's funny because I also believe I'm dropping my attachment to views, but and so because of that, I posted these 2 philosophy videos just with a quote on my TikTok, and they both flopped technically. And it's like
Hmm.
without overthinking that or taking that personally, I'm just like starting to feel like I'm gonna feel more free to post those if I create that second TikTok. And I think when you just let go, like instead of focusing so hard on this decision, like you just create what you want and like let it like you'll figure it out and like trust your instincts. That's where I'm going right now.
Yeah, and it's very it's kind of like the essence of holding on to things or rather the essence of letting go of things is what makes them stronger. Like the more we try to hold on to a person or a relationship or any sort of attachment, the further it's going to get away from us. And the more we let go and come to terms with uh, the way that things just happen naturally, then, like, I mean, I'm not saying like let's let go of it so our channels can grow, but if we let go of it, it's it gives it room
Yeah.
to breathe and grow in a natural
I
way.
completely agree. I'm a, the whole philosophy of letting go has been, man, I really believe in that these days. It's like
Yeah.
you cannot control the outcome when you try so hard to control the outcome, you somehow paradoxically you stifle what's supposed to happen, you know?
You push it
Right.
away, yeah. And that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to learn. I love the philosophy of it, and that's like the biggest thing I'm trying to apply to my life,
Yeah.
like in every
Maybe we
sense.
should
It's very hard, but I'm
maybe
trying.
we should get that tattoo in Florida finally.
I was thinking about it last night,
That'd be
actually.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Do you know any good shops over there?
I've gotten all my tattoos here in Florida, but I mean, for something as simple as
Yeah,
that, I'm
probably
sure it wouldn't be.
everybody can do it.
Yeah,
Speaking of letting
but
go, one more thing I wanted
yeah.
to bring up on the social media front is that it's been really, really important to let go of the upload schedule, which for me has necessitated letting go of the income.
Hmm.
Because when I was in a position of forcing a skate video once a week, it was really inhibiting my freedom. And
Hmm.
it's just too much, especially now that I'm interested in creating other types of content and the podcast and all the channels. It's like the funny thing about it is I'm actually pumping out content like a machine, but in more of a but it's not forced anymore. Like I'm doing more than one
Yeah,
piece of content a week. It just might not be going on my skate channel.
yeah, I hear you.
But that schedule came out of a first it came out of a real strong desire to grow that channel back in the day. Then it was a desire to maintain my growth, and then it was a desire to maintain my income. But as the creative fuel stopped aligning with that, it just threw me out of whack. And now uploading whenever I want, which is not the advice I would give to a serious YouTuber. I would highly recommend a schedule, but like where I'm at now, I just like need that freedom to create freely, and it feels amazing, dude.
I think it's cool that you and I are on such almost like extremely different sides of like YouTube. Like you have like what would be considered like a bigger channel, and then I have what would be considered a smaller channel. So it's cool to see like because I wanted to grow my channel. Like I wanted to grow and I did that like as like to the best of my ability at the time. And if I would have kept at it in that same sense, then my channel would still probably be growing and all that. But I I feel like I no longer care about growing my YouTube channel.
It's funny how that happens.
And and that makes me feel happier because when I was trying so hard to grow my channel, I was left with so much disappointment and a lot of existential depression. Because I mean, you remember we would go sit down at these bars or and we'd talk, and I'd be like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life. Like my channel's not growing as fast as I want it to grow. Like I can't keep doing this. Like my life isn't working out. I have to give up. I have to quit. And you would obviously tell me like, nah, dude, like you can't do that. Uh, but I would get so down on myself because I wanted to be somewhere where I wasn't quite yet. And now fast forward like at least maybe a year or so, I don't. I don't think I care anymore about growing my YouTube channel. I think the only thing that I care about is about creating. And if my channel is going to grow, then it's going to grow. But I've let go of this thing where I have to be a YouTuber and I have to like that's me, that's what I have to be. And I'm ever since I did that, remember I hated my old job when I was in New York and I was like I can't keep doing this, man. I can't work this job anymore. Now it's like I kind of want to get a job and I kind of want to be I kind of want to do something, something else. I want to do something else, and I want to make money doing something else, and I want to still make videos because it's fun.
Yeah.
And that's what led to my burnout was that I was making so many videos and not getting the results that I desired. And this desire was killing me on the inside.
Yeah, dude, I resonate with all that so much. I feel like on some spiritual shit, like when you let go of the idea that you need to be a growing YouTuber, and it's hard because there's so many. It's funny, like growing up I felt pressure to be corporate, and it was hard for me to decide to become a creator, and that was my truth. And then deep into creating, now there's all this pressure to niche and grow and follow the algorithm, and I had to start unfollowing all these people who are like giving you algorithm tips, because it was like it was creating this attachment for me as well. But like I would say I've let go of that for like 3-4 weeks now.
Yeah.
And it's like on some spiritual shit, like letting go of that and just creating what you want to is like that that I believe is where the happiness comes from. It does not come from the growth or the money. I think it comes from just being free.
Yeah, 100%. And I also think like I mean, don't get me wrong, there are many people who can start a YouTube channel today and can grow exponentially and will become very successful YouTubers. But we do know that that is not the norm. And there are way more people who will start a YouTube channel today because they see people like you and even people like me, and they want to do that also. And it's not gonna, it might not work out. And they're gonna get down on themselves, and that's unhealthy. Uh, so I think at least, and whoever watches this, like it's important to know that like you can't and you shouldn't tie your worth to something as superficial as that, because I did that for a long time and was left feeling unhappy, unmotivated, and feeling like I wasn't important enough for people to want to watch on a massive scale.
Yeah.
And that ruined a lot of things for me, at least in my head, uh, and even just interactions that I could have had with people, because I wouldn't even tell people I had a YouTube channel until I reached this arbitrary number of 10,000 subscribers. And the point of what I'm saying is I think we should attach our worth to real things as opposed to these fucking numbers that are so detrimental to our mental health. And it makes me so much more happy, like so much more happy to post a video on my second channel, or excited to post on the new TikTok that I'm going to make and have it get a couple hundred views than I give a fuck about my board size video getting like 60,000 views, like I don't care anymore. I let go, and I'm
Yeah,
happy,
dude.
happier.
And it's like I think I need to amend my advice, like my law, and I'm sure you remember me pounding this into your head, was that if you
Yeah.
want to be a YouTuber, all that matters is that you post consistently and never give up. And
Yes.
then I would tell people like the growth will come. If you do that, the growth will come. But now I see that as a bit narrow of advice. I think that I would amend that to Um, all that matters is that you don't. What am I trying to say? It's like you can't give up creating. Like you should
Hmm.
create, like create, but listen to yourself. You know, if you hit a point on YouTube where it doesn't feel like it's what you want to be doing, then like listen to what you do want to be doing. And
Yeah.
I think I've given up the idea that we can control numbers. I don't think we can I don't think we have any control over whether a massive amount of people are going to resonate with our work. Um,
Yeah.
I think that I don't know, but it's complicated because I see people like our homie Matt who is dedicated to finding a formula that would work on TikTok, and the repetition of that formula has reached people. And it's like looking at his case, it's like, wait, can you guarantee the numbers?
I think there are definitely strategies that work, but there are always going to be people who get lucky. And I know Matt has put in an extreme amount of work to be where he's at, but I also think that he had a level of luck that played into it to where this wasn't like a massive thing that was happening when he started, which was the finance talk. It was there, but it wasn't like where it is now. But and dude, I love Matt to death, and I would say that Matt's one of my best friends. But I I don't I can't align with his content. I love him, and I think the content that he posts provides value and does provide a lot of good things for people who are into that kind of thing. But after so much time and all of the stuff, like that pattern and that strategy feels disingenuous to me. It doesn't feel anymore like it's what it used to be. Now it's like now it's all about that first 2 second hook, the call to action, and the abrupt like video style, and it no longer feels like it's about Matt doing what Matt loves, even though it could be, and I'm just speculating, but it feels like it feels like these people get sucked into what works, and then that's all they see is what works.
Yeah, and that's I think this is something that happens very universally, and Matt knows we love him. And I'll also admit it's that kind of creator that I've had to mute on Instagram. You know, because
Yeah. I've had Matt muted for a while
right,
now.
and it just
I think I don't have his post or his stories muted, but I definitely have his posts muted because when they come up, it's usually one of those reels, and I don't want to see them anymore. And it's not like I really need to stress, and Matt's never even gonna watch this
he might
podcast, but
love you, Matt.
I love Matt like beyond belief how much I love and appreciate that dude. The content is not for me, but I will always support Matt, which is why I would never want to unfollow Matt. But the content is not for me. The content doesn't align with my or the strategy for that kind of content and those creators doesn't align with my values as a
Right,
creator.
and we can be stoked for Matt that his videos are doing well, and we'll see him and be like, dude, you're killing it, like, and support
Yeah,
in
and
that way.
I've edited a bunch of his YouTube videos, so it's like I've helped to do
Yeah,
that, you know.
and so I
But
you go ahead.
go ahead. No, 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 that was done.
So I know I quoted the artist way in one of the previous episodes, so I hope I'm not reading the same quote, but this is very relevant to the conversation about repeating a format on TikTok that does well. So here it is from The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. An artist cannot replicate a prior success indefinitely. Those who attempt to work too long with formula eventually leach themselves of their creative truths. Embedded as we often are in the business of our art, it is tempting to guarantee what we cannot deliver. Good work that duplicates the good work that has gone before. Successful movies generate a business demand for sequels. Successful books generate a demand for similar books. As artists, we are asked to repeat ourselves and expand on the market we have built. Sometimes this is possible, other times it's not. So that quote makes me think of Matt repeating the TikTok format. It makes me think of us. I think we were repeating a skate vlog format, and I think we hit a point where I think it was lining up actually with our creative juices, but there came a time where it eclipsed and we were following a format. Meanwhile, our creative passion was going in a different direction, and that's where you create tension in yourself and your work starts to suffer.
I agree completely. And now that you reading that passage now compared to when you read it last week is resonating so much more with me, and I feel like I was able to hear you more than I heard you last time. And yeah, I mean this we repeated this skate vlog format so much, and if I were to meet the person that I was back then, that same person I think wouldn't align with my current values. Because in terms of creating, because back then it, like I was saying, it was all about views, it was all about growing, it was all about uh start video, hit skate park, and then hit a topic, end session, go home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it was just like all that. And that's great because dude, if we wouldn't have been in that mindset back then, I don't think we would have arrived at the one we're at now
That's correct.
yet.
And it's
And I am very, very grateful of the new mindset that we're taking on.
it's kind of miraculous how just to witness us changing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, I never thought I never thought I would be okay with the idea of getting a job so I can create whatever I want, for the sake of creative fulfillment. But here I am open to anything, and it just feels good.
Yeah. And I think it's because we're letting go.
I think so too.
Like,
That's why we got to get it tattooed.
dude, yes. Like I'm so down, and I'm just so grateful for being on this journey
Me too, man.
because I don't want to be like that.
I think it's actually a perfect opportunity to read a comment we got on the latest episode. This is on a comment on YouTube from Jeff Solomon. I'll read it.
Go ahead.
He says, "I'm pulling my hair out while I'm watching this. I like you guys, but I think you're missing the point. I, along with everyone who follows you, got into your videos because we like skateboarding. If you make videos with an algorithm in mind about other stuff, of course you're going to drive away the people that followed you from the jump. If the San Francisco 49ers all of a sudden decided to be a figure skating team, I wouldn't watch anymore either. Just keep focusing on skateboarding centered videos that you love and figure out new revenue streams if money is the issue." So I think this perfectly exemplifies the quote I read before about how artists are asked to repeat their prior success. I mean, all respect to Jeff. I think Jeff is misinterpreting our priorities. I think our priorities are no longer to repeat that business success. Our priorities have shifted to creating what we're passionate about. And I think we've passed the point I think we've tried to repeat our past success for long enough, and we've now burnt out of that. So now it's actually more about finding what we're passionate about creating, regardless of the business outcome. And this is another idea from the artist way. We're focusing on enjoying the process of creating our art instead of focusing on an outcome or a product that repeats the outcome or the product of the past.
Yeah. I think and I think that this, like, it's not over. I think we may fall back. We may fall not back, but we may fall into a new pattern eventually. And then eventually we'll realize, oh, like I want to do this because of the fact that we're like uh just always changing and always growing and always learning new things about ourselves and about what we want to do. So it's like a year or 2 years from now, we might have a completely different mindset than we're having right now. But I think that because of the way it's happening right now, like it's only going to get more healthy. And there may be a way down the line where all of this stuff becomes really successful. It could, it might not, it could. It could become very successful, but it can become successful in a way that has no attachment to it.
Right.
And in a way that, oh, this is working and that's cool, and I'm just doing it. But there's a way that it can like continue to be genuine and not forced.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, that's the goal. It's when your natural creative drive with all its changes and growth aligns with business success. But
For example, I think, sorry to cut
you're
you
good.
off, but I think a really good uh, like example of that is looking at Braille versus Revive. Braille is from an outside from an outsider's perspective, Braille is like 100% on the strategy side.
Yes.
They are content machines. They repeat uh, the exact same thing over and over again because they know it does well and they know it's going to reach a wide audience. And Revive, which, I mean, it's mostly when I talk about Revive, I mostly just mean Andy Schrock, because it feels like they all just do whatever they want in general. But Andy's videos are literally him doing whatever he wants to do, and he repeats certain things, like, yeah, he does a warehouse Wednesday every week, or he'll make a video with his son every week, but everything is different, and in turn his company is also doing exceptionally well. Again, from an outsider's perspective, Revive does very well, Braille does very well, but one of them is going this like super structured content heavy way, and the other one is doing it in a much more loose way.
Yeah, it's interesting. Actually, I have a slightly different perspective on Andy's channel that actually gifted haters video on me made me kind of come to realize, and it's that he actually does have a formula, and it's there. Whether he loves doing this, I'm not to say. Maybe this is his creative drive, but if you look at it, it's an interchange between a relatively similar skate format and family content.
Hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but I will say I think it's potentially more formulaic than you think.
I'm sure that it is, but what I'm saying is in the aspect of he seems to be doing things that make him feel good.
Right.
Which is what I was saying about how we may get to a point where what we're doing feels so good that in turn it does well, and it becomes a healthy
Yeah.
pattern. If my life was divided in those two ways, I think I would be exceptionally happier with Andy Schrock's formula as opposed to the Braille formula,
I understand.
because I don't care at all about. trying to whatever their form, the way that their growth is set up, that doesn't align with me. My values align more with the way that Andy does his stuff,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
because he's doing whatever he wants. There may be a formula behind it and a reason behind it, but it just seems more healthy and more genuine.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily disagreeing, but like whenever you say what you're saying about Andy, my first thought is like, how do we know? Like, what if he's been
Yeah, we
forcing
can't.
like what if he's been forcing out and he doesn't give a shit about it, you know? Like we don't know what's behind his mind. Um another
I think the things that make me feel that way is that, uh and again, like, I have no issues with either of these channels. I have friends on both of these teams, or whatever you want to call them. Um, but there is an aspect of familiarity and, what's the word? Just like connection with with Andy's videos that I don't get from watching the Braille videos and the people in the videos interacting with
I
each
mean they're
other.
more personal, that's for sure.
Exactly. I don't know. I get exactly what you're saying, but I still think that one of them goes one way that is very, like, structurally strong, and the other one, while it may be the same, has a more loose format.
Sure. I mean, yes. They're different channels, strategies, whatever.
Yeah.
Um Something that popped in my head a little bit ago during this conversation is that whatever if you completely let go and just create what you want to create, it's funny because you'll naturally fall into a formula. It's just not a formula at that time. It's just
Yeah.
you're creating what you want to, and it's probably going to all have this similar atmosphere. The problem lies in when you hit a point where you want to change, then you look
Yeah.
back and suddenly you have a formula that you feel like you have to follow.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And somebody that popped into my head right away was Dale Decker's videos, because back in the day when I first found out about him, he was making the similar John Hill type videos about, like, skating, like weird stuff, kind of like the Braille formula, and more. It was just different back then. And then I guess he got bored of doing that kind of thing, and I guess that's when he realized that he was in that pattern, and then he switched to doing those, like, really street heavy videos that aren't super vloggy and not very, like, heavy editing, and he's like filming these dudes who are really good at skating and just filming the sessions. And even, like, recently he's come out with the videos saying that, like, stuff is changing, and, like, I guess now he realized that that's a pattern as well. And I don't know Dale personally, but I'm only speculating. But uh, that makes sense with what you said. It's like that new pattern was realized,
Yeah.
and then I'm sure in his mind he's also thinking about, like, ways to do things differently now,
Yeah. And just to
in a way that feels more congruent with, like, what he's
yeah.
feeling.
Just to point it out, he's not very active on it, but he has a second channel too about
Yeah,
more more philosophical discussions, you could say. Um, and the
yeah,
funny thing is, you could say this about my second channel too, and your second channel is that we're also developing a format, and it's just that the change is inevitable, and when you hit that point inevitably where you need to switch what you're creating, what you cannot control is if the audience who liked format A is going to still like format B. And I think the key thing is to let go of that and listen to yourself over the audience, um, and just like see what happens, you know. And
yeah,
what's cool about the why I'm optimistic about the podcast format is that it's a conversation. That's the format. It's a conversation. It can encompass so many different things. So I think the runway is a lot longer, but like who's to say how long we're going to be passionate about this? And it's almost freeing to like not be attached to it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, at the end of the day, whatever it is, everything comes down to your personal attachment
Right.
and the how willing you are to let go of things when it's time to let go.
Right. So we just gotta quickly shout out the sponsor of this video, Car Yuma. Car Yuma make just kidding.
Canceled.
Somebody was probably already pulling out their phone to message gifted hater.
Dude, the second you said that, I guarantee you, like someone's like, "Oh, nope, fuck this, I'm out."
Um,
Oh, fuck, dude. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? I mean, we hit on like the whole like the comment, the business versus the passion, the unfollowing, and a lot of stuff in between.
I think we definitely hit everything on my list. So if you got nothing else, I think it's time to wrap it up.
I guess, I mean, we could talk about that fat, juicy dump truck of yours.
Okay, do you want to see it too? Maybe patron only.
What we do is you stand up, and as you're about to show it, it cuts out and says, "Subscribe to the Patreon."
All right.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I'm excited. I'm very stoked on how today's episode went. I think we had a good a good conversation, and I think it'll be insightful for people to hear. And remember to use our Riverside affiliate link and sign up for Riverside.
Yeah.
Because this fucking software is so sick.
It's actually
And
it's actually
it's
dope if you want to record your own podcast. Our link is in the description.
Dude, I could literally just like call my grandma and record the conversation without her knowing,
Which is really
and
cool.
have like a podcast with my grandma. Well, it's not cool that she doesn't know. Let's just say that. It's cool that it's that easy.
It is really easy to get guests on. So if you guys want us to have any guests on the show that we could interview, pick their brains a little bit, let us know who you'd like us to have on the show in the comments as well. And join our Patreon for monthly Zoom hangout with Danny and I and everyone else in the community, as well as early access to episodes and a few more perks. All right. Y'all have a good day. Appreciate you tuning in. Danny, final words?
I feel really good after this conversation. I feel excited to create, and I hope that the viewers enjoyed this. And I can't wait for the next episode.
Me too.
So
we'll catch you guys next time. We're gonna do this every time, aren't we? All right, take care, y'all.
All right, peace out, everybody.